Hello, welcome to day 3 of the 29-day vlog challenge. We're up to the letter C for people new to therapeutic tools of the trade. Hello and welcome. My name's Danielle Graber. I'm a psychologist and animal assisted therapist working out of Ferntree Gully, Victoria. I'm the director of 12 Point Psychology, and I am, up to day 3 of the 29-day challenge. I hope you've enjoyed. A is for attachment and B is for biofeedback. Obviously, everyone who's joined the group for the 29-day challenge, you're free to look around. Someone's joined us live. Excellent. Hello. You're free to look around at all of the resources, everything that I've uploaded prior to today. The group's been running for about 6 months now, so there's lots and lots of resources, lots of past videos for you to check out. Up until the 29-day vlog challenge, I did just one live stream or one video per week and one sort of main resource or collection of resources. But absolutely make the most of your membership this month. Have a look around and see what else it might have to offer for you. At the end of the 29-day challenge, we'll talk about what things look like in the group moving forward. It is usually a subscription-based group. It's $120 for the year or $12 a month. So you save a little bit, obviously, doing it, paying it yearly, but hopefully this month gives you a chance to have a look around, see if you think it's worth the investment. But even for those who have just signed up for the 29-day challenge, very happy to have you on board, very happy to be sharing these resources, and very happy to be sharing this one today because it's one of the ones that I just love. And in a way, this resource and where I got it from, how I came across it and how I've used it is sort of the impetus for therapeutic tools of the trade in the first place. So I came across this book when I was in masters, really early masters study, called The Therapist's Toolbox. And it's out of print now, but I'll post a picture of it and the details in the group in the comments after this. But I love this little book. I thought it was just so great. It's only small. I was going to have it here and show you, but as I tend to do, I have lent it out to someone and I have forgotten who I lent it to, so I can't show you. But it's just a really cute little book, quite short really, and it talked about the budding mental health clinician and all of the little bits and pieces. Hey Wendy, all of the little bits and pieces that go into making our toolbox and go into making us better and stronger mental health clinicians. So this little book, the Therapist's Toolbox, I suppose, was still floating around in my head when I was thinking about doing this group in the first place. So it's only fair that I share one of my favourite resources from that book with you guys today. So this was originally, in the book it's used for a couples therapy exercise, hence C is for couples. So communication, conflict and couples, those three things tend to go pretty well together. But I've definitely found over the years this technique works really well with parent-child interaction work and with family therapy, and even just sometimes, even if you're not doing actual parent-child therapy or parent-child interaction, just sometimes explaining some of the concepts. Maybe you're working with the teenager and trying to improve communication between a parent and the teenager. Maybe you're working with an adult client who's struggling with their own teenagers, and this is just such a simple, nice little demonstration and exercise. As I explain it, I'll explain it in the original sort of couples version, but I'm sure you can see it did not take a brain scientist to figure out how to adapt this for use with those other populations. I'm sure you can figure it out because it really is quite simple. So all you need, there's a few different ways to do it, and depending on the types of clients that I'm working in and what I know of them, what I know they're interested in, I might make it like more or less fancy than this, but the base version is you just need a piece of paper, just plain piece of copy paper. Sometimes I'll use like a little ornament. I've got these kinds of like little ornaments or crystals, or sometimes I might use a water bottle. Whatever, go with what works. But in its original version, it's a piece of paper, and you address it to each member of the dyad that you're working with. And I say to partner A, I'm holding this piece of paper here. This piece of paper symbolizes something that's really important to you, something that you really highly value and prize. Okay? And then I say the same to partner B. This is something that you really highly value and prize. This is really important to you. Whatever it represents, it's really important, and I'm giving it to you guys to hold together. So partner A holds one side, partner B holds the other side, and I say, now you've got 10 minutes. At the end of that 10 minutes, only one of you can be holding on to that piece of paper. And usually they start asking questions and, you know, can we rip it up and all that kind of stuff. So, no, you can't rip it up. Can we talk? You can talk as much as you like. But I try and keep the instructions really, really, really simple and minimal like that. And then, because they're usually looking at me like I'm a bit strange, or they're looking at each other like, why have we come to this person? I'll then look, okay, all right, 10 minutes starting now, and go. And it's fascinating. I first read about this in that book, The Therapist's Toolbox. I'm going to say 9 or 10 years ago, I think. I can't remember. And I immediately loved it and started using it pretty much that same week. And it's been 9 or 10 years, and I just am constantly surprised by how much such a simple little technique can bring out. So you'll get a couple of responses. Sometimes you will get person A just goes, oh, here, you have it. And they literally throw it at each other, which is why the paper is a good idea most of the time. Sometimes one of them will snatch it. Give it to me, you'll just ruin it. Sometimes they just argue for the entire 10 minutes over who should hold it and who previously has shown themselves to be trustworthy, and why I should hold on to it because you screwed up that thing with your aunt 6 years ago, and you know you can't be trusted with something important. And it's amazing. It's amazing what it brings out. What it brings out more times than not as well is for the ones who, even if they take the full 10 minutes, the number of times, I could probably count on one hand the number of times the conversation has actually gone to what the piece of paper means. They spend 10 minutes fighting tooth and nail for control of the paper, but neither of them, like I said, it's happened maybe 3-4 times in the last 10 years where they've actually said, well, what does that mean to you? Or this is why I think I should hold it because this is the kids and I know I take better care of the kids than you, or something like that. It's quite remarkable. They oftentimes, most of the time, when a couple comes to see you for couples therapy, when a family comes to you for family therapy, when there's a parent-child, particularly adolescent parent-child dyad that's going haywire, they can identify, you know, it's our communication. We need help with our communication. But trying to verbalize what that looks like is really difficult. And this exercise gives you just such a beautiful, simple way in. And that beautiful in vivo exposure to, well, this is what we're talking about here. You guys have been arguing for 10 minutes over who gets to hold this at the end of it, and neither of you have asked the other one what it means. I've just said, I'm giving you something that's incredibly valuable to you, and you're holding on to something that's incredibly valuable to you, and at no time in that 10 minutes have you discussed what it actually is. And even in those 3 or 4 times where they've said this is what it is, often that, you know, this is the kids and I take better care of them than you do. That's kind of useful information to have. Hey, Matt. Okay, so really simple, really straightforward, just beautiful little exercise, and you can imagine just how many things this can open up. So with one couple, it was very, very quickly. She just took it off him and basically said, "Oh, you'll just screw it up." And I'm able to talk to her about, so what was it like when you decided to make that decision, when you decided to make the unilateral decision that you knew what was best for him, for you, for his treasured thing, for your treasured thing? What does that feel like? Like, does that ever get tiring? And we were able to open up this beautiful conversation around, she feels like if she doesn't take care of things, things will fall apart. And that was in part because of she had that experience in her early life that, you know, she really had to be on the ball and responsible, and if she didn't, things did fall apart. He always took it as, you don't trust me. So we could open up, what did that feel like when she just made that decision? What did that feel like when she just decided she knew what was best for you, and and we were able to open up what that did mean for him, and certainly from some of his family of origin stuff and how it was playing out in their relationship. The couple who started to talk about what it might mean, and he sort of said, well, I think this might be, and she's like, well, it doesn't matter, you're going to end up doing it anyway, and just gave it to him. And what did that feel like for him? What did that feel like for her? What does it feel like to have someone, again, make that unilateral decision, but also make all those assumptions? She's assuming that he thinks she's an idiot and will always take the important tasks off her anyway. So she doesn't even try anymore. Well, he's left feeling really resentful that he's got to take care of everything. It's awesome. It's such a good little exercise. And certainly with teenagers, and their parents, that can be quite a powerful, exercise. Nothing more so than if you've got that, 99% of people who haven't even bothered discussing what the paper actually represents, and just pointing that out. Sometimes we get so caught up in the fight, we completely forget what we're fighting about. We don't even realize what we're fighting about. It's a beautiful way to demonstrate what we're actually talking about when we talk about breakdown in communications, when you can't even communicate what you're communicating about. So that's my my little therapeutic tools of the trade for day 3 and the letter C. So tomorrow, day 4, 4 is my lucky number and D is my favourite letter, because and obviously it's going to be dogs. So we are going to be talking about some ways of incorporating dogs into your therapy. We're going to do one tool for use if you are already an animal-assisted therapist, and one way of incorporating dogs and animals into your sessions if you are not lucky enough to be an animal-assisted therapist. Well, not yet anyway. I do run another group, Introduction to Animal-Assisted Therapy. If anybody is interested, and you might be more interested after tomorrow, you can also check out that one. All right. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. I should say the last 3 have all been kind of at this same time. That is just completely coincidence. These live streams will be, sometimes they might be in the morning, sometimes at lunchtime, sometimes at like dinner or after dinner. It's just a coincidence that these 3 have all been around about the same time. But just happy coincidence. Thank you very much, and I will see you all tomorrow.